So let's get to our favorite segment, the movers and shakers segment, and let's start off with Varinder. He's got a whole host of stocks today. So Varinder, let's start off with IGL and GSPL.
Well, this entire daily mess, if I can say that, it's good news for, it's bad news for many companies, which Sonia will of course mention about, and it may be good news for few of them. Of course, on top of the list is clearly IGL. The stock, I think, is now up by nearly 4.5%. We got a note also in the morning from Nomura, who said that it's a key winner for Delhi pollution focus. They are expecting that under the entire Delhi scenario, they are expecting that the earnings will be, will move up by nearly 22% in FY17. Volumes will improve, margins will improve. They have, of course, upgraded their target price to 600 from 515. There are other people as well who are mentioning that that Delhi doesn't have that kind of infrastructure required for companies like IGL to go ahead and expand in a big way, especially in the next 3 months or so. So those are the bottlenecks which the company might face. But clearly, considering the stock hasn't done anything in the last 1 year or so, the stock has been moving up. So keep that in mind. Also, other companies like the CNG cylinder makers, a few other companies which are moving up today. So you have Everest Kanto, Nitin Fire. Everest Kanto, of course, is the bigger one because that has nearly 55 to 60% of the market share and has the biggest presence in Delhi. So that is another stock. Everest Kanto, I think, is up by nearly 15% today. Also keep a Nitin Fire, a small company, but of course that is another stock to keep an eye on. Also in the morning, Nomura came up with a note on GSPL where they have upped the target price from 125 to 165. GSPL is what I'm talking about. So that is also another stock you can keep an eye on. They are expecting that the regulator will be revising the pipeline tariffs in fourth quarter. So that could be another stock which could benefit.
Okay, Varinder, thanks so much for that. Sonia, over to you. The stock which is not very happy, or the company which is not very happy with this development, clearly is M&M.
Oh yes, it's deja vu, right? Just less than 2 hours ago, we were sitting like this and discussing the news flow that came out. So the Supreme Court has banned the registration of diesel cars over 2000 cc in Delhi, as the news goes. The ban will be up until the 31st of March 2016. And the Supreme Court has also ordered all cab aggregators like Ola and Uber plying within Delhi to migrate to CNG by the 31st of March. Also, the Supreme Court has hiked the pollution tax on commercial vehicles entering Delhi, and trucks registered prior to 2005 will not be allowed to enter the city borders. Now, which are the stocks that get impacted? M&M is the one that gets hit the hardest because 4% of M&M sales comes from the Delhi market, but most of M&M's products, 99% of their sales comes from products that have an engine of more than 2000 cc. So most of their, XUV 500, Xylo, Scorpio, all have more than 2000 cc engines. And if you want to put a percentage to it, 40% of M&M's standalone revenues comes from the Scorpio and the XUV 500 alone. Now, the other two stocks to look at are Ashok Leyland and Tata Motors. And when you read through the fine print of the order, you get a sense that this could be a positive for some of these commercial vehicle makers, because there will now be a ban on diesel commercial vehicles registered prior to 2005 from plying on roads in Delhi. This means that older commercial vehicles will be discarded, and that will give a push to replacement demand. And that's the reason why, some of these makers like Ashok Leyland are holding up in the green.
All right, Sonia, thanks for that. By the way, the ticket team is telling us that the Nifty has moved to the high point of the day. Just take a look at Infosys. That stock seems to have made a bit of a move in the last few minutes, and that's why the Nifty has moved to the high point. That's the Nifty high point. Pull up Infosys. I think that one as well has suddenly started moving with some strength. But let's focus on the movers and shakers. So you have Anisha standing by. She's going to tell us about GVK. Anisha?
Well, yes, GVK Power is buzzing in trade today, and that is because on the back of a newspaper report which suggests that the company is looking at selling up to 49% stake in its airport business for close to around 4,000 crores. Now, as per reports, the company has already shortlisted 5 bidders, including the likes of the German airport operator ABI Alliance, and they are likely to submit the final bids by Jan end. Now, if you look at the airport business for the company, the total enterprise value of that segment is close to around 8,800 crores, and the Mumbai and Bangalore airports form the core business for the company. In fact, if you look at the performance in the first half of financial year, this segment contributed close to around 65% to the company's top line and close to around 160 crores to the company's bottom line. Now, while the management has declined to comment on this particular development, they had been earlier indicating that they are looking to raise money out of the airport business, and with this stake sale, they'll be able to remove all the debt of around 3,600 crores that is there for the airport business, and in fact, post this, they might shelve the IPO plan that they had for the airports business earlier. Now, with this plan to deleverage the balance sheet, the stock is up about, I think, 3%.
Okay, Anisha, thanks for that. Stock is 8 or 9 rupee stock. But moving on now to Pipavav Defense, we're in a big up move. What's the reason?
Well, the open offer ended yesterday, and people are saying that there was a 100% acceptance which happened earlier. If you just see, the stock didn't move at all. It was stuck at that 66 rupees mark, which was the open offer price. So the entire defense sector was moving, but the stock was not moving because of that open offer. Now it ended yesterday. There will be no supply because 100% is the acceptance which is coming in, and people are buying the stock in anticipation that some orders will be coming in this company. But clearly the fundamentals haven't picked up for this company until Q2. They expect a huge orders coming in the next 2 or 3 years. So fundamentally nothing has changed in the company. It's only a technical thing that the open offer ended yesterday, and now people are buying for some upside, believing that sooner some announcement will be coming in.
All right, Varanda, thanks so much for all those stocks. But Rima, tell us about Wipro. That stock struggling in today's trading session?
Yes, it's down 0.5%, which means it's underperforming the frontline indices by over 1.3%. The news is that the Chennai floods will have a material impact on the company's revenues in Q3. So because of that, the Q3 revenues will be towards the lower end of the company's guided band, lower half of the company's guided band of 0.5 to 2.5%. So the street is now expecting Q3 revenues to be closer to that 1% mark. Apart from that, the company has also incurred a one-time cost, which is towards the deployment of their business continuity plan, because of which their margins will be impacted. Their Chennai facility has close to about 22,000 employees, and that's nearly 13% of their overall employee base. So after TCS, which had given a profit warning on account of the Chennai floods, it's Wipro which has followed suit. And you have to bear in mind that these stocks had anyway reacted when TCS had come out with the announcement. So it was at levels of close to about 600. It's come down to levels of about 550, and today it's seen a little more pressure. So stock that is down close to about 0.5%.
All right, then that's about Wipro. Mangalam standing by. He's going to take us through all the large trades that we saw yesterday and how the stocks are reacting. Mangalam?
There were a couple of interesting trades that took place yesterday, Nigel. The first one is Tara Jewels, where Purinju bought 1.5 lakh shares on that counter. A little about the company. It's an integrated jewelry manufacturer. In fact, it manufactures and retails as well. And it has an export focus where 80 to 85% of the revenues come from exports. The market cap as of yesterday's closing was 135 crore rupees with an FY15 PAT of close to 44 crore rupees, trading at perhaps lesser valuations, but it also has institutional holding. ICICI Prudential as of September 2015 did hold 2.1% stake in the company, and the stock given a bit of a kicker after the yesterday's large deal. Also, GIC Housing Finance is on our radar. That one's gaining in today's trading session as Reliance Mid and Small Cap Fund as well as Reliance Tax Saver. Basically, Reliance Mutual Fund in both their funds collectively bought 7.8 lakh shares or close to 1.5% equity. As of September, they held 3.05% stake in the company already. So this is just increasing their stake, and we are seeing an uptick on that one as well. Back to you.
All right, Mangalam, thanks so much for joining and taking us through all the stocks that are buzzing around. But let's do a quick recap of all the stocks that are buzzing at this point of time. We have IGL, GSPL, Everest Kanto, we have Mahindra & Mahindra, GVK, Pipavav, Wipro, Tara Jewels, GIC Housing Finance, as well as Nestle.